Hi guys, my name is Daniel Chia and I'm a saxophonist based in Singapore. I've been playing the saxophone since I was about 13 years old. So I was very fortunate to come from a musical family and I was able to start my music training from a young age. I think I gravitated towards the saxophone as, I found it was a really expressive instrument, and growing up I played the piano as well, but I found that the saxophone was really more me in the sense that I was able to play a lot more genres and be more expressive through it. So yeah, I found a great connection with the saxophone. I think the funny thing was, when I was younger, I never thought I would be a full-time musician. It never crossed my mind. I just focused on my studies and playing sports, and actually that led me to become a physical education teacher for about 4 years. So I think me being a professional musician really fell into place over time. I would say probably in the past 8 to 10 years, when I started getting some gigs and started performing, and I realized that, hey, I think I really want to do this for a living, So it wasn't something that I grew up from young thinking that I would end up doing. But when I decided to do a full-length album, I knew I really had to dedicate all my time and energy into this project. So I think it was more the recording of my first album that made me decide that I really had to leave my day job and go 100% in on this album. Yeah, I think when I first decided to go full-time into music, the months prior to making that jump, I think I really was... There were times where I was worried and thinking whether I was making the right choice, but I think I realized that I could always get another job or return to the same job even if I wanted to in a few years' time. So I was just thinking that there was really no risk involved and I should just give it my all and try to pursue music full-time and work on my album. So yeah, definitely there were some moments where I was unsure, but I think it's been about 2.5 years now, and yeah, definitely no regrets in my decision making. I think there are many musicians who probably work very hard on their craft, but for me, I guess one of the areas that I really wanted to make sure I did was to put in my 100%, and that includes the financial resources as well, to be able to get the best product possible. So I think in anything I do, I always ask myself, would this be a world-class product? And being a musician, when I record an album, I ask myself, is this a Grammy Award-winning album? So as long as I have that mentality, I think I'll be very proud of all the products that I put out musically. So I use that as a guideline to what I do on a daily basis. So I would say, aside from working hard, that's something that personally I really believe in. In the past 2 years, when I decided to become a full-time musician and work on my album, I really dived head in about the whole music industry and the whole music business. And I think the one thing that I really learned about social media was how powerful it is, and probably, in my opinion, more so than any of the other mediums that we can have, And I've never seen myself as a Singaporean saxophonist. And actually the funny thing was, I started taking that term out of my bios and in my interviews, because there's no need to label myself as a Singaporean musician, because I'm just a saxophonist, I'm a musician, and my music can exist globally. So I started to think a bit more global, and with social media, with all the various mediums, I find that there's no reason why I can't get my music out, and so yeah, I think social media is a really big platform for all artists. I think staying flexible as a musician has been something that really has benefited me, because I know of many musicians who choose to just play in one genre, which is totally fine. But for me, I really enjoy all sorts of music, and I've always taken pride in calling myself a saxophonist and not a jazz saxophonist or pop saxophonist. So I feel like good music is good music. So I've always dived into any songs that I like, from Chinese pop to current top 40s to jazz to R&B and soul. So I find that has really helped me to establish myself as an artist who is really flexible and being able to play multiple genres. So yeah, for sure. I think for me, what defines success would be for me to get my music out to as big an audience as possible, and for them to see me not just as a musician but as a good human being. and I hope to be able to spread more love and positivity through my music, and also through all the other endeavors that I will be working on, be it social causes or charitable events. So music really is just one small platform, and I hope to be able to do as much good, in terms of health and healthy living, and being positive, and just bringing about more love, hopefully, in all that I do, not just in music. So for all aspiring saxophonists out there, I hope that you guys would just keep working on your craft and being the best musician that you can be. Play as many genres as you like, meet as many people, and travel as far as possible to make music with other musicians. And hopefully through your interactions with other people, they can see the type of person you are, and so eventually they will know you as being a great person and not just a great musician.